2026, we are here in this quarter-final match between the LPL's BLG and the LCK's Dplus Kia. And everything, as you said, is on the line. The loser gets their key crushed. And what's that line you've so famously coined, Initialized?
Well, yeah, there's something about a boulevard of broken keys or something. Even here in Paris, they've ported it over. When you see the champions at the end of the tournament, the winners of this particular League of Legends competition, you will see the path they walked across is literally filled with the broken keys from years past. The bottom of the totem, where all the various frames from the winners of all of the games played at EWC, that base is a resin block filled with broken keys. It is a remarkable sight, and year on year, that number of totems keeps growing.
And speaking of remarkable, this is the LPL's darling team, Bilibili Gaming, their #1 seed at MSI, who came in second. And this is Dplus Kia, the LCK's underdog. T1 just 2-0'd HLE out of EWC 2026. So now it is T1 and Dplus Kia representing the LCK. But enough about what this means for these teams. We are into these picks and bans, and there's already some staples coming through in that Orianna, for example.
Oh, yes, it is indeed. You've got to keep your eyes on the other side of that coin, though, in terms of what got locked in. Chase for Bin. He is always down to take that blind pick and basically ask the question of his opposite number. What have you got to match? His ability to pick up a laning lead has been exceptional all year. Of course, at MSI, though, we saw once or twice he'd get that lead, and then, well, maybe the muzzle, a few thousand gold lead throws here or there. The Ziggs and the Camille lock-in, though. Honor's always been a creative support player. Elise's and Anivia's, and of course now with the Camille's coming out, very happy with that. And lock in a Ziggs combo with it. If you're looking at probably the best mage bot player in the world, you have to go to Viper. He was doing it the best back in 2018 on Griffin. He can do it the best here in 2026 as well.
Yeah, I mean, Gumayushi has obviously been looking good on this pick, but you've said it before and we've seen it before. Viper is just better on this Ziggs, and with that wave clear and the mobility out of this Camille, it's very much going to be each, bot laner is going to be left alone, and the supports are going to be roaming. Camille, yes, one of the best, one of the nastiest at it with those hook shots, being able to come at you from those creative flanking angles. But on the side of Dplus Kia, we've got that early aggressive jungler in the Lee Sin. We've got Cassiopeia. We've seen Cassiopeia's become oppressive and run down enemy teams. And the tankiest of tanks, Cassante, a good all-out across that wall, and it changes the entire team fight.
And I think removing someone like the Trundle then to protect that Cassante from a potential subjugate, there's the name of that ability.
Beautiful. Makes
some sense. Of course, that Cassiopeia, very flexible. You can put that down towards the bot lane there for Smash as well. And that's been something we've seen Viper do into the Ziggs, actually, thinking back onto it. So you can definitely look to make that an option too. And of course, ShowMaker, no stranger to a variety of champions. In fact, I remember a run he did years ago in solo queue where he just played a random champion and a new champion every game and climbed to challenger with something like an 80% win rate. It was pretty silly. Very flexible player.
That's
what
it.
I'm getting at there.
I do love the bans. As you say, Trundle the Subjugate can flip the fight on a Cassante, but I also like this Skarner ban. We have seen Skarner rise in priority in that support and jungle role over the past split. So it's nice to see the sort of, hey, we know how you guys like to play. We're going to ban your sort of comfort picks for these players. But on the other side, Leona, you'll note, Leona has been banned, not Nautilus. This is a dynamic shift in these bans because usually it's, we want to get, and there it is, Nautilus has been picked up. So it's one or the other now.
Yeah, still just considering it, but I think it's a likely lock regardless. It's good with the Cassiopeia because you can obviously sit down a Miasma on top of it if you do want to pair that in the bot lane. Still able to leave the lane very well as well. Can match that Camille. We have sort of seen that trinity of the Camille, the Pike, the Nautilus, depending on who the players are to get some value. Looking for a pick for Knight here. you're looking at a player who, across the year, has looked like the best performing player in the world. Well, Knight has to go to the top of it as far as I'm concerned, at the very least. I grant you a certain amount of LPL bias, but still has been very potent, make no mistake about it.
One thing I like about this Nautilus pickup as well, great engage tool coming out of DK. They were kind of lacking there. Obviously, Lee Sin can start a fight, but he's not a really great team engage tool, except for that Dragon's Rage kick to go back into it. But it's a bit harder to pull off, and I'm loving seeing these hovers on that Kai'Sa. She's risen up in the meta of late as well. Yeah, we were talking about a mage meta at MSI, but here at EWC, we're kind of seeing a mix. We're seeing the mages, but we're also seeing those traditional auto attack damage dealers. So I'm loving that Kai'Sa hover. I do hope they lock that one in, but it's almost anti-synergistic, right? Kai'Sa, the ultimate dive AD. The only other potential dive you've got here to follow up is Lee Sin.
And I somewhat agree. You've got Nautilus with you, you've got a Leona with you. I have seen, and we have seen, some of the Vi Cassiopeia combo, which you would think of as something similar. But if the Cassiopeia is within a screen's range, rather than going to the backline, what you can do is hit someone with the first bit of CC, namely the Nautilus, and then put the Miasma down. And then there's no way out as the Kai'Sa, as the Lee Sin come in, because you can't move. You have no ability to use those mobility skills, and that could be pretty damn scary. Last pick locked in as well, so we've got our compositions rounded out. Double poke from BLG with a significant amount of pick with the Jarvan and the Camille. On the other side, something of a dive and pick combo there from Dplus Kia.
Yeah, two different compositions, which I love. It more speaks to the styles of these teams as well. That J4, I will be expecting to be cataclysming, trying to get onto the backline, onto this Cassiopeia, onto this Kai'Sa. But we've said it before, that Cassiopeia with that Miasma, you go in, you cataclysm on top of her, that's a one-way trip. It's highly unlikely that you're coming back out of that one. So it will be great to see how both of these teams play around one another. I think I'm favoriting one of these teams, though. I hope it goes 2-1 because I love as much League of Legends as I can possibly get. I'm going to say it's a 2-1 BLG favored matchup. What about you?
I struggle to ever trust Dplus Kia. I think anyone who's seen LCK this year knows exactly how inconsistent they can be. And BLG, sure, they're coming off a tournament loss, but they were on the verge of golden roading this year.
Yeah.
And that is nothing to sniff at. They've gone gold, 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 silver. Like, that's still 3 out of 4, and the 4 was very close. So I still have them as one of the tournament favorites, and I think for me in that regard then, I think 2-0.
Like, quite frankly, if BLG do win here and make their way to fight T1, I favor their odds against T1 as well. Because you're right, they are just off the back of a phenomenal performance at MSI. They 3-1'd HLE only to get 2-3'd in that grand final, but they are good. They're up there with the best of the rest in the world. And DK right now, ShowMaker had a fantastic game on that Zoe against G2's Caps yesterday, but can one great performance really carry a team through to success, as we are finally on the rift for this game 1 of our best of 3 series between the LPL's BLG and LCK's DK.
That it is. As I look at those runes, nothing super surprising there. It's Glacial Augment for the Nautilus is perhaps the one that's a little bit surprising, alongside the Halo Blades there for the Camille. Those are perhaps a little bit more unusual than the Halo Blades on the Camille. Not so surprising, perhaps, now that I think it through a little more. Dumb sentence from me.
Hey, look, you're paired up with an Aussie, mate. There'll be a few that I'll be able to cover as well. And there's a couple of Aussie words that I was like, oh, can I? I better not. But we go to this mid lane and we're already trading. ShowMaker, a slight HP advantage, but the bot lane is where all the action is. Korea is just sitting there, gets a good hook, a bit of poke, smash.
Eats a lot of damage here at the level 1. Great from On. Was one of the first people to pick up that Camille and gets a lot of work done on it. Already.
But I really, really like that trade, right? Korea was waiting. Oh, we go again. Korea was waiting in that bush for a long while. Was able to land the hook and the auto to CC, but On immediately went on to smash to turn it back around. That Hail of Blades, that Ignite doing so much damage, which means these secondary trades are going to be a lot harder for Smash to be able to step up. And Viper on this Ziggs is nailing those skill shots on top of Smash, so he does have to be careful. And maybe a couple of summoners burnt, but otherwise nothing really to write home about. The junglers, though, opposite sides of the rift.
Korea potentially in a spot above, but just get that little staggering blow auto onto Viper. Puts him in a tricky spot, but that's a good satchel back. Smash left. Not quite smash, but certainly a little lower than you'd like. The hook, though, onto On, who does get that adaptive defensive, but he's really low. Tactical sweep. Smash flashes in and doesn't get the kill. Went looking.
One more auto would have absolutely done that. Played to perfection by BLG to escape without giving a kill over. And not many summoners burnt to speak of. Career, the only one in the bot side of DK with is walking up.
Gets the shield with the Titan's Wrath. There's a satchel away, flashes away. The turret shot's there. The bombs keep flying. Short Fu's passive not there. Lucid around, gets that Sonic Wave in and just brings him down into the turret. It will be the 1-for-1.
And he knew it too. He just stood there. He's like, well, this is inevitable. Gets that first blood. Critically, though, getting that extra first blood bounty into the pocket of the jungler, and that's exactly what you want. Lee Sin is an early game, aggressive jungler. You need to feed gold into him to enable his playmaking, to enable better 1v1ing and team fighting. So I'm really liking this initiative here. We've got 1.5 minutes till the Drake of the game. DK, negligible lead, but it's a lead. It's 200 gold
Lucid
up.
might end up face-checking Shun. Oh, and there's the flag and the drag. And unfortunately for poor old Lucid, he might not be feeling so loose anymore. There's a stun, but it's only onto Career, who body blocks well on that hook shot. Turns it around with that staggering blow. He's got himself a Dread Sign to work with and should be able to escape relatively freely.
Everybody wants to support like Career. He literally just walked in front of every single skill shot and was saying, you will not touch my jungler.
Smash, I fear you may be in danger. He might instead be the one who is about to have an unfortunate experience. Can they get some support? Career is coming on up. Shun's trying to zone him off. They're going to have On go in. The hook shot. The dredge line's wide. The flag, the drag, and Smash finds himself dead to rights. On does at least get picked up in trade.
Yeah, 1-for-1. That's almost a disaster for BLG there. DK has to be happy with that. They played that beautifully. Yes, the hook shot missed because Jun exhibited excellent patience. He didn't go in for that flag and drag when it was predicted. So Career whiffed, but 1-for-1. Happy with that because they committed so many resources. As we take a look at this again, Lucid knew he was going to die. He just stops. He's like, yeah.
Well, this is my life now.
Take me, I'm yours.
Record scratch. Guess you're wondering how I got here.
That's the one. Now, we do see BLG here, Knight in the middle though, 50% health. So obviously some trading's happening on coming through to be like, hey, back off my mid laner. And the dragon has spawned. Right now though, Shun might have an angle on Career.
There is no flash. He's got himself a dredge sign away. Should be all right, but it's very unusual for BLG. They are rarely a team that plays around bot side. They love to have Shun and On go more towards their solo lanes, setting up Viper for success best they can. He's got himself an early gold lead. ShowMaker eats the wrong end of an Arcane Storm. On is trading up with Career here. Needs to be a little bit wary. The tactical sweep comes on out, but that'll be the end of that. Shun does get to steal away a Raptor camp. Lucid on the reset here, so not able to come and defend his own camps.
Yeah, and with no vision on either of these jungle objectives as well. Obviously, Grub's 2+ minutes away, but that first Drake has spawned and there's no vision. So neither of these teams will know when it starts up. Lucid on the way out to that Mountain Drake, but the top side, they're just trading. Siwoo, very, very tanky on this Cassante has been, just gets a little bit of chip damage. But I want to take a quick look at the vision. You can see that DK are prioritizing top side through that mid-river. They want to know if we see Shun making a play to the top. Because you can see on that mini-map there, On is heading out. So that speaks to me that they want to get that priority in time for those grubs. But you look at the junglers, Shun is on the bot side. So it looks like he wants to go for the Drake. So maybe if we see a quick rotation from On, they would prioritize that Drake as a mid lane play, might be about to occur.
Yeah, there's also Camille top, so plays happening in multiple solo lanes at once. Career now a known quantity. Knight doing a fairly decent job of staying even with the Cassiopeia, that with the DFT change has got a bit stronger. On, are we thinking about this? There's the to the skies. Siwoo goes W, but that means he doesn't have that ability to go and stop him anymore. Just try to find a way out with the all-out and does survive.
Really well played there by Siwoo. I loved how he went unblockable there and was able to get through that CC. Just buffered it beautifully, all outed to save himself. Maybe try and get something back as a bit of a punish, but it will slow them down. Lucid, though, has come to this top side. He's like, you tried to go for my top laner, I'm going to put up a defense. That Drake still alive, and it is on vision. So DK know they can make plays.
Speaking of those plays, a Raptor camp being considered here as a little bit of an ingress from Lucid was thought about. They won't actually look towards it, though, and that is picked up fairly cleanly there by Shun. Dragons up. grubs in 40 seconds. I suspect one or the other will be a consideration in short order.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this gold lead right now. It was 200 for DK, but it has switched over to BLG, 500 plus. And look who it's on. It is on Ben, on that Jace, in the top side, through a serious CS advantage. He's eked out 12 over Siwoo up there in that top lane. So doing a really good job of using that range to his advantage. But Viper, that wave-clearing menace on the Ziggs, having that extra kill, having that extra CS, also plus 500 gold in that bot side. So BLG, they're slowly, methodically building this gold lead, getting an edge up over DK. And gold leads mean you complete your items before the other team. You have advantages.
On does just about get out there. Got a little nervous as the miasma came down, but just a touch too late to stop the hook shot. Appreciate the concept. That's sort of what you want to get out of the Cassiopeia in a draft like this. Lucid mid, on still around.
That's it, and we did see the Void Grubs, they have spawned, so both jungle objectives on the Rift. And this is what we've been seeing a lot of here at EWC. Much slower to go for these jungle objectives. I feel like the tempos, they understand what's at stake. They understand that if they lose, you know, the momentum of these games, they really risk being knocked out of EWC 2026 here at the Cadillo City Battleground. And they're playing like it. They want to make sure that when the fight breaks out, they are best positioned for it. Bin, 22 CS up now. He just keeps growing that lead. But Smash has caught up with Viper, as we do see BLG overloading that sort of bot through mid with Vision and 4 members.
So, as it stands, BLG with a significant early start. They get themselves at least a little bit of that gold. They can start with a dragon. The grubs are traded, and of course DK well within range here of being able to come back on this one. Actually, they might be around to make a fight of this one. There's a Sonic Wave resonating strike. No smite, and Shun is solid with that F key.
I really do like that play there from DK. It was very non-committal. It was like, hey, we'll have a cheeky poke. If we get it, great. If we don't, no real loss. It's only the first Drake of the game going over to BLG. It is a Mountain Drake, so they'll be slightly tankier, but no real result out of that one because there's a lot of damage coming from the side of DK. That Kai'Sa, when she hits that 3-item power spike, no amount of defensiveness will prevent that damage coming through from Smash.
Hang on, I'm going to try and jump onto Lucid there. He does just about slide away, picks up the big raptor there with the smite, so Lucid doesn't have those camps stolen away, but it has really been about these jungle supports looking to make things happen. 2-2 in the kill score right now, not really gone entirely one way or the other as yet, though I'll note again, Viper up a decent chunk of gold. Same with Bin, largely off kills, and in the top side's case, CS.
And we are seeing those first items come through as well. Viper completes his first. Swifty's on tonight, so that movement speed to keep him safe, keep him survivable. The Dark Seal there too. We see Lucid halfway to his first, and that Negatron cloak on Siwoo in respect to the AP damage that can come out of this Victor, that can come out of this Ziggs on the side of BLG. We're 10 minutes in. It's an 800 gold difference. No real clear winner so far. No one's seriously ahead that it's unplayable for the other side, and I like it.
I think BLG will be happy enough with the start nonetheless. Again, they have got that slight advantage, and again, once you start to get ahead, if they can get into the river first, suddenly the double poke becomes pretty obnoxious. Your ability to lock people inside a cauldron and fill it full of fire and fury is pretty excessive. Especially with the fact you've got a Camille and a Galio. Not Galio, Camille. That's the one that you can do that one with. So used to that combination being a thing.
And not to mention the scaling on these teams, right? Obviously, Victor, a very, very strong scaling mid laner, gets more and more powerful the longer the games go. Bin, with more and more lethality. Those empowered shock blasts will do 50% of your health if you are a squishy, and that takes you out of that fight. So that is some serious threat potential here. And Lee Sin in that jungle does tend to fall off after the mid game. Towards that late game is less potent. Still has some playmaking ability, but in comparison to what J4 can do, locking down an entire team in those cataclysms, I almost feel like DK is on the clock here into the very capable, very competent hands of BLG.
Yeah, and once upon a time, BLG had a bit of a nickname, and that was bad late game. Anytime it hit about 20 minutes, they'd be asked to team fight, and they have a habit, or had a habit, of all trying to be heroes, when sometimes you just need to put the team fight fries in the back. And that means actually just front to back, have a Scion sit there rather than have the Scion come for a flank angle from Bin or look for the hero play. Sometimes you just need to do the easy, straightforward stuff. That has improved over the last few weeks, was better at MSI again, but they are still very dangerous in these early stages. One of the best teams in the world at snowballing with Elite Hell. That was one of the things they did against HLE of all teams, who are probably the most LPL of the LCK teams.
Yeah, and I mean, HLE, they were the ones to beat BLG, as we've said before, but we are here at EW26, and EWC 2026, sorry, and we are
There is a cup involved, so I heard.
Yeah, just a couple. But BLG, they're up here on this top side. It is bot lane. No, it's not actually. It's On and Bin. So the support and top laner versus Smash and Career, which is the traditional bot lane. It's kind of a weird rotation going on. But you do like to see these adaptations, these plays. And look at this line of vision control on the minimap
You're
here.
so right.
I know, like, I know.
I don't. It's going to be one of those casts, is it? I see. Okay.
But we see BLG, they have this beautiful line of vision, right? Between their mid and their top tier ones. So they will see DK coming from that top through jungle if they want to make a play. So I love that vision control, and they've swept the bot side. But where is DK's vision? They've barely got any to name.
Not right now. A little bit of a chunk comes on down from Bin onto Siwoo, though at this point with the full Thorn Mail, he's not taking that much damage to actually get 8 and Tofo strikes down. Lucid is around and will be a known quantity, so Bin, I don't think is going to overplay his hand right now.
Yeah, and I like what Siwoo is building here, right? Obviously that's Sundered Sky from Shun, but it's going to be mitigated because Siwoo knows he's Cassante. Siwoo knows he's going to be frontlining and will be the most tempting target. And Shun, if he goes in on him, the healing will be cut by 40% by that Thorn Mail there from Siwoo. Lucid, though, also with the Sundered Sky, but there's no anti-healing on the side of BLG. I think they just go, there's not enough on the side of DK to commit that kind of item, as we just keep trading. Level 11s have been hit, which means it's those level 2 ultimates. So both of these teams are getting more and more powerful here, as our supports also have hit level 6.
Flag and drag comes on down. There's the all-out from Siwoo, looking for a bit more of a chunk. Does manage to step on form, pulls back beautifully, but here comes On. Forces a flash, TPs come flying. Dplus Kia here in force to defend their Cassante. Career also on the roam. Lucid goes forwards with that safeguard, looking to get on the Camille. Good backstep, but the miasma means no way out for the Camille.
Fight's not done. Another TP's being committed. It looks like Knight once more. They're hurting them in.
They are, but it'll be towards a turret that's still standing. I don't think they'll get that much more. They may still want to play for this dragon, though, and DK played a significant, or rather used a significant amount there to make that kill happen.
Yeah, but BLG, they've got the numbers now, so they turn it onto the second Drake of the game, and their Drake stacking has started. This will be a Hexol.
Lucid, are we sure? Out comes the depth charge. Shun's potentially in danger here all the same. Gets the flag and drag the Mega Inferno Bomb. The Cataclysm. Traded fail flash from Lucid means Bing gets the kill. Cataclysm, rather, the ult from the Camille, that Hex Tech ultimatum, will offer an ultimatum to ShowMaker, and it's a 3-for-1.
Yeah, BLG, they took that fight fantastically. They get the Drake. They shut down Lucid as well. Lucid did get one onto Shun there in the pit, but was unable to escape. Meanwhile, BLG won the team fight after the Drake had died in a convincing fashion. As we go back to this bot side replay, and here's where it all started. Siwoo just hiding in these bushes, playing around that vision control so Bin can't chip away at him. Bin, though, I feel like he's playing for time here. I feel like the call has already been made that, hey, come on down, let's get this Cassante. But you've got to remember, it's a Cassante.
Yeah.
Has all has so much armor and defense, gets the flash out of Shun, and he knows he can play aggressively because he had his own flash. TP committed. DK responded to the BLG play in fantastic time because ShowMaker, Miasma, you cannot escape.
And because On has to front step to avoid the dredge line, it's in range for a miasma. That is a rock and a poisonous place, I guess. We then speed up to have a look at this dragon fight because BLG still have position and they do win the ensuing fight.
Yeah, and Career here is waiting. He gets that dredge out, but he wants to go with that hook here, and unfortunately takes too much damage, misses the hook, and is definitely the first to go down. BLG just had the numbers advantage. Bin shut down Lucid there, and it's all she wrote. They just played it a bit cleaner.
Yeah, and I think the other side of that as well is Lucid tries to greed a flash out. There's a Cataclysm wall next to the Dragon Pit wall and ends up trapped between the Cataclysm wall and the Dragon Pit wall, and so doesn't get out to safety and gives Bin that second kill. Worth noting, they do get the Herald. Nice attempt there from Viper to steal that away, but it will not be a successful one. Bin now up a lot of gold and will also be picking up the first turret of the game.
What we just saw, Bin ordered the tower and he just stood there. He was just aura farming the turret as it was taken down by minions.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say, like, was he trying to deny more minions? Probably. Knight actually now in danger, walks into a petrifying gaze, and unfortunately for this Knight, this is the age of the monsters. He gets knocked up by a depth charge, gets staggering blowed, and the Twin Fangs will land on in and pick up another for ShowMaker.
And this is what we want. We want to see these proactive plays. DK are playing across the map. They're bringing the numbers onto the players that are caught out. Knight was up in that top lane alone, playing aggressively, had no idea ShowMaker was there. So it was a great start, and it was excellent timing and position from Career to be able to really lock Knight down and make it an unfair advantage over to DK. But we are at that 18-minute mark, and the gold lead is still only 900 in favor of BLG. So DK, they are very much within touching distance here. And one thing I want to point out as well, both jungle objectives are going to be coming up at pretty much the same time. Baron in 1 minute 40, and that third Drake of the game also 1 minute 40. So this could force these teams into a split decision.
Good call. Gold lead is still there for BLG, but it's within touching distance for Dplus Kia. I think more importantly is where that gold is situated. Lucid up a certain amount, picked up a couple kills himself. ShowMaker on a very potent Cassiopeia, also 2-1. The problem is you've traded it for the double artillery pieces of a lead on Bin, and you can underline that one at 1,800 gold, and a near 1,000 gold lead for Viper as well, who has just picked up a Shadow Flame and has picked up a few additional stacks on a Dark Seal.
Yeah, look, Bin's form has been fantastic of late, right? He's earned that nickname Gigabin for a reason. Yes, he's fallible like every other top laner, but more often than not, he performs. He is consistent, and BLG can rely on him to do what he needs to do. Not only, hold on in that top lane, but he can win through the top lane. He can be that win condition for BLG.
Maybe this is just me being a nervous LPL fan. But I have seen Bin with leads like these maybe go for a 1v1 or 2 he shouldn't have and throw away a little bit of gold here or there. Because you're right, the early stages have been so consistent for this player. But then we have seen him not read where the jungle is, not read where his own kind of pressure on the map is, and give over advantages he perhaps shouldn't. He is in a fantastic position this game. Fight happens as a hook shot out from On does get over the wall. The Glacial Augments, though, was a bit scary. Smash doesn't pull the trigger there on a Killer Instinct. Yeah,
I think that's a good call there to not overcommit, because BLG responded very, very quickly, and objectives are on the map. You don't want to die 5 seconds out from a Baron and a Drake, because you could then give both over to your opponent. So it would suck very much. But DK, they have the priority. They've got the vision control around this Drake. Knight trying to get something done on the other side of the map though, but everyone is meeting around this Drake. Knight trying to prevent the recall, and cops a... Oh my god! Turret nearly takes him out.
Yeah, it does. So, Shock Blast lands onto Korea, can look to TP back in off this reset. That means right now we've got a 5v4, the Mega Inferno Bomb, Chunk, ShowMaker, and Smash. But it's a win on the Dragon Smite fight by Lucid, who was on it first. Shun now trapped in the river, has to flash out. The Sonic Wave wide. ShowMaker eats an accelerated Shock Blast, and that one kind of sucked for him. But they win the Dragon. No one dies. Everyone's out to Summoner or 2. That's the trade at best.
Yeah, taking a look at that minimap, Knight was still in his base that entire time, so it was always that 4v5, and I have to imagine that was the call from BLG. BLG were like, you know what, let's take a cheeky look at this Drake, we'll try and fend them away from it, but we won't overcommit. So I really love that heads-up play from BLG. They were just out there farming that gold, and it's only the third Drake of the game, and it's only DK's first Drake, so it's barely meaningful here.
Shun is topside, Career in the river as well, and it has been a pretty even game on the whole. BLG did come out to this early gold lead, did come out to the early Dragon lead, but it hasn't ballooned out from there.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, right?
Ooh.
They're staying... Ooh.
The important thing might be the fight that we're about to witness. The all-out into the kick. Beautifully managed by the DK top jungle.
And that's what you were just talking about. Bin not staying in touch where the enemy junglers were, and then they get 2v1 Bin, and they chip away at that gold lead, because we said it before as well, Bin is most of the gold lead for BLG. He is a juicy, juicy target, and they take this bot side advantage and punish BLG hard. It's now only a 200 gold lead as that Rift Herald is marching on their bot side tier 2.
Much like with HLE, BLG are coming to this tournament with very little downtime. They were both in the finals, fly out almost immediately to Paris. It is a breakneck schedule. There's a look at that gold as well. Viper in a great spot, leading the way. Of course, Smash just behind him was briefly on T1, wasn't he? Because of that potential power on the Kaiser, was such a good player of it.
Yep.
Here looking to deliver in 2026 here in Paris. Korea, look at that hook on, swift enough on the way out.
Yeah, some of the hooks from Korea, I mean, I feel like I'm going to say this and people are going to be like, so is. I mean, they've been very hit or miss, right? When a hook misses, it whiffs and you're like, oh no. But when it hits, you're like, yes, the engage is there.
I wish you guys could see Logan going for this kind of weirdly Italian celebration with the hands. It's great stuff. We've got ourselves a cinematic replay on a wonderful takedown on Bin's Jace.
A beautiful all-out straight into Lucid. What can Bin do there? He just eats two ultimates back-to-back, CC'd into oblivion and buried in the dirt of France here in EWC 2026. We do take a look, though. Viper here defending with the Ziggs. The wave clear with that Ludens, with that Shadow Flame, that needlessly large rod is out of control. Can very much prevent what a lot of DK wants to do. They don't have the best siege comp.
I'm looking at this now. The goal's back to even. It's basically gone. We are at an even state of affairs. Herald was used bot, turret to 2 in favor of BLG there. Couple dragons, that's kind of the advantage, but it's not a monetary value. And that makes the next fight in, say, a minute and a half very significant. Thank you, production, for the gold graph. On it as ever.
That's the one. And it does show you that roller coaster, right? But it shows you that BLG, more often than not, have had that gold advantage. They've been able to claw it back from DK whenever they have gotten ahead here. And DK, they don't have many windows of opportunity when they're in control, when they're ahead of BLG. DK, 6-5. They've got one turret to 2 of BLG's. The Baron is up, and the 4th Drake of the game, a minute 15 away, as Shun just spots Lucid there, but ShowMaker gets that turret, evens it up. So now it's 2 turrets aside, and DK nearly 1,000 gold up. Most of that gold lead is on Lucid. 2-2-2 in that jungle. And ShowMaker, with that 10-stack Rod of Ages, does have a level advantage over Knight right now.
Yeah, he does. And again, I think we are going to have to start seeing some of these resets beginning to roll, as indeed the 3rd item for Smash, Kaiser online, those upgrades there. Nearly at the Realize for ShowMaker, but not quite there. And of course, on screen, we even get a little pop-up to show exactly how important that spike can be. Death Cap also not quite there for Viper. I actually wonder whether if Smash gets a free fight, that little difference is going to be enough to turn this one around.
Yeah, that's it. And look, Viper with that 2nd needlessly large rod is only about 1,000 gold away.
Oh, nothing really, you know.
Is so close to that Rabadon's Death Cap with a 4-stack Darkseal. So the damage coming out of this Ziggs, absolutely spectacular. You cannot get caught in the Mega Inferno Bomb.
Worth noting, Bin has got the Cyrildas as well, so that penetration is in. He should be hitting a lot harder, assuming the shock blasts land.
I mean, it's nearly impossible to miss with these things when you're going into that 5v5 situation.
On went forwards, the teleport was summoned, but doesn't fully commit with the hook shot. Shot blast lands onto Korea. He's a lot less happy about it, even with that shield on up. Siwoo also here.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a trade of summoner spells. We get that top lane teleport, we get that mid lane teleport as well, Knight and Siwoo. But DK, they have the priority, they have the vision control. It will be spotted out by BLG, but my goodness, that is a fast strike.
Hook goes wide, flash for the hook. Viper left away, but does get out with a satchel. Good from him. Siwoo on the other side, looking for the all-out. Does manage to drag Knight, who gets the rocket belt away. Siwoo unstoppable, locked inside. The ultimatum gets burned alive. Lucid there, kick away with the Dragon's Rage, follows up with the Sonic Wave. Flashes out, Double kill for Viper, who is showing ShowMaker, who's more serpentine this time around. Speaking of ShowMaker there, looking for more damage. They've lost some vision. Out comes that W. It ends up being the Dragon to DK, but I think BLG with a slightly better team fight.
Yeah, 2 for 1 in favor of BLG, but when it's a Drake and 1 for DK, it's still relatively even. It does swing the gold back over to BLG, though. That Baron still on the Rift. It's 26 minutes in this game, and fights are explosive here now. We saw the escape from Viper earlier. He did cop that ult from Korea. Hopefully we go back to seeing that one. But we're back to live in BLG. I mean, they want this Baron. They've got the numbers advantage.
I mean, Lucid's dead. Lucid's dead. And of course, ShowMaker just got chunked. This should be a done deal. Viper's gone home, picked up a death cap, is terrifying.
We do see Korea coming in. He wants to get some vision control at the very least, so DK know if they can make a call here. ShowMaker goes in.
Does try and lock them in the pit, turn this one around. The smite finds early! Oh my lord! BLG get away with it because that was an early smite. They go 1 for 1 of the kills, make that 2 for 1. Lucid here, looking for the Sonic Wave, lands onto Viper, but will not follow it up. Bilibili Gaming playing with their lives there, but they get away with it. Full disclosure, I see D gone off to the side, upset a little there. The DK didn't quite do it for his home region. The LPL fan of me, however, is quite happy.
That Baron lived on, I swear, single digits for far too long. The fact I was actually able to see it, and it sat there, and things were happening, and it still didn't die. They had every opportunity here. BLG, they had the numbers here, right? Shun, Bin, Knight standing in the front, so ShowMaker couldn't find a way in. Knight trying to poke ShowMaker away, even getting the stun field down the miasma to prevent them coming out. Career on the bot side, but ShowMaker goes over the top, forces them all into the back of the pit, and here comes that, and the stun as well. That was 1! It was 1! That was so close!
Not even close, baby. BLG win those. Absolutely no bias there, but let's be serious there. DK had a golden opportunity to come back from a position they should never have been able to get that Baron in. They were down members, had no smite, and that was still a stealable Baron. BLG get away with it. Let's make no mistakes about it.
They are not punished for their hubris today, but we see a fantastic angle from Lucid. He flashed in.
Oh dear. Oh. The angle was perhaps not fantastic at the end there. He gets annihilated in the blink of an eye.
I appreciate the attempt to get creative and flank. I appreciate the attempt to kick someone into the waiting arms of DK, but these tricks BLG have seen before. They know what to do in the face of a flanking Lee Sin, and they punished him. Lucid was dead before we could even react, and this Baron-empowered BLG is sieging. Great buffer from on.
Korea gets absolutely blasted. Viper hits him with the skill shots, and the Nautilus, he's in a diving suit, but it's full of holes. That ain't great, so I hear.
Definitely not when you are this far under. It is 5 versus 3. So BLG, they're able to punish DK here, and they start to really build a solid lead here. Nearly 3K, with 2.5 of that coming from that Baron power play. Next Drake, 1 minute away, and these items are online. 3 for Siwoo, 3 for Bin as well, and so many more.
How much of a reader are you, Logan? Because I just saw Viper go home and pick up a Medjai Soul Stealer. There's Lucid on the flank angle, and this is partly why Viper decided to do it, because guess who got the kill?
Yeah, definitely. As Jun there goes in with that Cataclysm, locks down Lucid, and I mean, we look at the summoners, right? Shun, no flash. Bin, no flash. So all their playmaking with those summoners has been whittled down, but they've got that gold lead. 3.5k, Baron is gone, so they can play it safe. They don't need to get aggressive. They don't need to get fancy. They can literally just push waves in and siege.
Out comes the Mega Inferno Bomb, and Smash is left a little lower as On buffers through the dredge line and the depth charge. The turnaround onto Korea, though, makes his life a lot more tricky. Siwoo on the flank. Now there could be a problem. Need to try and get towards Viper. Is in danger. They go unstoppable, but there's the Hextech ultimatum to try and buy some space. Smash in with a killer instinct. Gets the kill. Viper down. Bin on the other side trading up with Lucid, but he gets kicked towards the play. Shun gets off Smash. Korea is in trouble. ShowMaker in trouble, but he's got the shield, and Korea survives. Stunned up on the gravity field. The W from Lee Sin, not enough to keep them up. As the safeguard is down and Knight needs to run away. It's a 4 for 2. Not bad from DK at all.
DK will take that fight and they will love it. Knight did his best, untouched on the back end of that fight, but priority goes over to DK. This will take them to that soul point. This is a Chemtech soul, and that is a very tanky Cassante and a very tanky Nautilus. Has picked up that belt as well, so when he goes in, he doesn't get punished as hard when he goes back out. Has a lot of sustain. As we take a look, this replay, BLG feeling confident here. They've got 4 members in the face of 2, but the speed of the collapse from DK is crazy. Siwoo with the flanking angle over the top that BLG just didn't get to see until almost far too late. And this Hextech ultimatum, it did nothing. It stopped no one.
Shout out to Korea as well. Flash lollipop hook behind the destroyed turret to pick up Viper. Huge moment there. And you began to wonder just at the end of this whether Knight could clean stuff up. At least gets Korea that safeguard inches away from saving back to life, though violence occurring, but there's a mega blast cone that makes things a bit spicy. Sonic Wave, flag and drag, that's a bit unfortunate for Lucid. Needs to get away, the Mega Inferno Bomb gets damage and the jungler is dead. That is unfortunate. Fortunately for Dplus Kia, though, the Baron's still 50 seconds away.
Yeah, Lucid will respawn just in the nick of time to be able to contest this one, and Lucid is the singular gold lead on the side of DK. 2K over to BLG. It has been chipped away by DK quite nicely here. 30 seconds to Baron, 3.5 minutes over to that 6th Drake of the game. It could be Soul, as Siwoo might be called out here, has to flash.
Yeah, that one was nearly a bad one for him. Gets out to safety, 20 seconds on Baron, the gold lead, 2,000 or so to BLG, but Soul points now for Dplus Kia as a win condition of its own.
But critically, Siwoo without that flash means a lot of his playmaking ability is gone. Yes, he has the all-out, but he won't be able to get those very creative flanking angles that we see him like to try and go for. DK, they're clearing out this vision, but you have a look at where BLG's is, it's all around the bot side. They seem to want that Drake, which is coming up in 3 minutes, so they want to maintain that vision, and there's next to none up on that Baron because the second Baron of the game is here.
Knight just picked up a death cap as 9 stacks on that Dark Seal. Hooks wide. Korea, that's very deep, my friend. You need to get away. Throws down that depth charge. Keeps Bin busy for a second. Korea survives, but not for long. On goes Unstoppable, but is dead as well. Support for support. Lucid on the flank, looking to try and find his way in as that Hextech ultimatum. Rather, the Hextech storm begins to get larger and larger. Finally peters out. Lucid with the Dragon's Rage to disengage, spotted by a Farsight alteration.
Yeah, ultimately a 1-for-1, but Shun was in the middle of every single member of DK and was taking absolutely no damage. DK, it feels like they were lucky to escape with blinking health bars. I don't know how BLG didn't take even more from them there. Bin was obviously looking for that empowered shock blast, but was unable to find an angle through those waves.
Back to
with
Baron.
That priority, with those kills, BLG fancy their odds. They get that vision control. They started up and decide to back away because they see DK in response.
And they do get Siwoo's TP out of it. So in many ways, they're pleased enough with it. Another summoner, that mid lane turret does fall, at least for Dplus Kia. It is a competitive game, we keep saying it. But at 34 minutes in, it feels like one calamitous team fight could well decide things here.
Yeah, interestingly, DK right now has a small experience advantage. Siwoo 19 over Bin at 18. Korea at 13 over On and 12. So it's these small advantages that if DK strike now, they have a better chance of winning these fights. Because BLG, it just feels like they're more prepared. They've got the gold lead. They've started this Baron. They've got that vision control down. They're going to back away because they know they're ahead right now. They don't have to force these fights.
They've also kind of got the range advantage. If you can start hitting these shot blasts, of course, at this point, the Victor with the upgraded E, that Hextech Ray can do a lot of work. Ziggs is very fed right now as well. So very able to blast people apart. Worth noting, we've got the arm guard in for Viper. There's a rocket belt for Knight. The ability to get onto these champions, not the simplest for Dplus Kia, even with their various pick tools.
Yeah, the problem I see coming here, though, is if BLG cannot prevent this Soul, that's 4 Chemtech Drakes into a Chemtech Soul.
Yeah.
That is so much tankiness for DK. And look at Smash. He's got 2 needlessly large rods. He's almost got this Rabadon's death cap. If he can get that before the next fight, that is a massive power spike and damage that must be respected.
BLG now in a tricky position. Damned if you do with the Baron, damned if you don't with the Dragon. Soul or Baron, Chem Soul often somewhat maligned, not exactly seen as the strongest soul, but with a Cassante, with a Nautilus, even something like the Lee Sin, who likes to play around those low HP bars, could be a difficult one to give up, make no mistake about it.
I am not making those mistakes. I am looking at this going, DK want it. They've got the priority. They've got the members. We see ShowMaker coming up from the bot side of the rivers to fight. Just a little tepid. They're just poking, they're prodding, seeing if they can get an angle. Zon goes in.
They'd find the angle briefly. Siwoo out safely. Does take a little bit of damage, but it's not that meaningful. Lucid starting up the Dragon career. Potentially in danger as Knight tries to keep the Cassante away. Shun looking for the smite angle. Still got the Flag and Drag. The Mega Inferno Bomb forces smash. And ShowMaker away. Flag and Drag. Lucid is out. Dragon half HP. This feels like the moment the storm breaks. One way or the other. 1500 won by Jarvan. Shun gets that one, and now on the retreat, Dplus Kia cannot find any kills on the retreat yet.
It was a great job there from DK to get that initiative. They started up that Drake, but it was an even better job by BLG. They were able to find that poke, that prod, and fight their way into that Drake. Siwoo might be caught.
Does indeed get caught. The W comes on down, but maybe it will not be enough. The Pathmaker makes its way through the Cataclysm just about. Out comes that Arcane Storm, but they don't get the kill. Siwoo down a flash, but ult's definitely burned.
Yeah, and the timing of that flash was spectacular. It was as on hook shot in at the same time as Shun went with that Cataclysm. So there was so much value there with that flash. It kept Siwoo alive, but BLG will still be happy with that one as we take a moment to assess the Rift. 1.5k gold lead for BLG. It's not much here at 38 minutes. And
I've said 1,500 gold lead for BLG for like most of this game, I feel.
Because like 38 minutes, I feel like we're encroaching on one of the longer games that we've seen here at EWC 2026. The Baron is up. It is a prize, and DK have started it. 13,000 health at BLG. They've spotted it out. They've got the vision. They want to contest this one.
Trapped in the pit versus Ziggs versus Victor versus Jace. This is bold. Shun over the wall with the Guardian Angel. Can get in. Miasma theoretically denied the flip. And Shun wins those. He's trapped though now. Can he make anything happen? The Cataclysm is there. The GA broken. Flags and drags while he's dead. In goes on. The Antofa Strikes Part 3 makes things tricky. The Hextech Ultimatum still trapped. On in danger. Career is only at the rest of BLG, who are now on the retreat. Members down. Viper petrified. Dplus Kia with the team fight win.
Bin holding on the top side. The last standing member of Dplus Kia as DK pushed down this mid lane. Yes, BLG got the Baron, but at what cost? 4 of their members dead. TP coming in. DK, it almost looks like they want to end this one now. 20 plus seconds on all 4 members.
There's no way the Bin alone could stop this. It would take a miracle, and I don't think Dplus Kia are in the habit of giving those ones out right now. A wave alone between them and the Nexus turrets in game 1. It was fractious, it was back and forth. But Dplus Kia will win it.
5 seconds on. It's still just Bin. DK really want to take this one out. They go on to Bin and they will take the Nexus here in game 1.
First stand champions, MSI finalists, down 0-1.